enthusiasm that I want. Yay. So we have a surprise instructor for you this morning. I'm going to stand by and assist, and my good friend Sue Bouchard is going to teach you today.
Hello.
Yay! I'm so glad. I told her I would sew and do anything she wants.
All right.
So I should have brought in more stuff with me today, right?
Don't worry, I have lots.
Good, good. Okay, well, today I was going to do something a little bit different. I know we've been concentrating, we do a bunch of piece blocks and applique blocks, but I wanted to show you a real interesting way of putting blocks together with a special lattice. So basically it's our woven lattice, and I hope you like it. So here's the quilt.
They better.
They better.
We'll just leave.
Okay, so here's the quilt. So I just used a large scale floral, but you can also piece 6-inch blocks will fit in there very nicely as well. And I have some that I'm going to show you up on the flannel board later in the lesson. Cool. So that's where we're going, but it's pretty neat. It's kind of like an optical illusion, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Eleanor's going to show you how to make it.
Wait, I didn't agree to do that.
Yes? You said anything.
Oh, no. I guess I better adopt my position, huh?
Yes.
Right here. Is this where I'm going?
Uh-huh. Well, I'm going to hang this up.
Cool, you do that.
For reference. Okay, so basically to do this, I gave you instructions on how to do the lattice for 5-inch finished blocks and for 6-inch finished blocks. Oh, okay. So you have a little variety there. Today we're going to be demonstrating on 6-inch finished blocks, and which is really good if you have like the 6-inch cube or anything like that. You can use those blocks. So we're going to use 2 strip dies. I listed at the top of your instructions up here, I listed what dies you're going to do for what size you want to get in the end. So hopefully I made that clear on what your rough cutting is going to be. I've already gone ahead and rough cut, so now I'm going to have Eleanor.
Oh.
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut our background. And the background in this quilt is right here where this dark gray is.
Oh.
Okay?
Oh, okay.
This is called the block, okay, where the big square is. This will be my background, and it works pretty well if you pick fabric that has the same background as your print, okay? And then you have 2 lattice. So you'll have your lattice 1 will be going horizontally, and your lattice 2 will be going vertically. Okay, so that's all there is. That's all about as tricky as it gets, okay? But the first thing we're going to do is cut this background, and we're going to need to use the 6.5-inch strip cutter, which I believe is this one.
Yes. Sure looks
Okay,
like
and I
it.
think we can do 6 layers, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So we're going to do, we need to do 2 strips, and we can cut them both at the same time. So you can lay them on there.
I don't know what I'm doing too.
You're just going to center it so it's over the blades.
Center it. Okay.
Yeah, you want to make sure that your
Make
fabric
sure in the
extends
edges.
beyond the blades so you end up with the right size in the end, right?
Okay.
You'll make that mistake once. Right?
Yes, right. Then you have to pick it all off.
So, Sue, what I learned during shooting the Accuquilt shows is that you put the fold in first.
Oh.
Yes, and we probably will be. He said you put the fold in first.
Well, that's good to
So
know.
if you go like
And
that.
the reason for that would be?
Probably so you don't get any little jagged things at the end, because your fabric, you know, you should always, when you cut fabric with a rotary cutter, you start at the fold and cut towards the selvage edges. So it's probably that same theory.
Right.
The reason is because they told us to.
Oh, okay.
There
Okay?
you go.
That's a good reason.
So now we're going to make a sandwich. We're going to start, I'm glad you taught me that, Orion.
But I add to the show.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Okay, so here goes.
And this might be the first time for a lot of you to see this.
Isn't this
Pretty
fun?
Love
amazing.
it, love it, love it.
I'm cutting the background, which is the, no, it's the dark gray.
So
Okay, so we're done with that.
They're doing the 6-inch right now.
I'm doing the 6 inch. Okay, you turn your mat, and that helps keep your fabric all nice and straight. And then this is all we have left. Isn't that exciting?
I know.
And it's so straight.
I love it.
Uh-oh, we're going to be taken off the air. I'm stripping.
Okay, so we'll set those aside. Those are ready to go. And then also out of the background, we need to cut a bunch of 1.5 inch strips, right? 20 of them out of your background. So we're going to go into this other die. Okay, you're at the background. If you're looking, and I'm just following these instructions right here. Okay? So she's just going to lay it down. This has been rough cut, so it's a little bit bigger than we need. And we're just going to run that one strip through. Starting at the fold, right? I need the mat. Oops. I did that the other day. I put it through without the mat. It doesn't work very well.
You know what I've done twice?
What?
I put my ruler on top and put it through.
Oh,
That doesn't work.
no.
It breaks your ruler. Doesn't work.
Okay. So now we're going to have a really good 1.5 inch.
Oops, we
I think
didn't.
it's just too little for that.
That
thingy.
didn't work. But look,
There you
they have
go.
little things.
Yeah, so, okay, so now we have a really good 1.5 inch strip, selvage to selvage, but I need to cut squares. So I'm going to just cut my thing in half right here. Okay, and you can fold one and I'll fold the other one. We're just going to fold it once and then fold it again. And we're going to put it back on the mat so it covers 3 strips width. Okay?
Woo!
You're so smart, Sue.
Okay.
And you could line them up the way along there.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do that.
Use a small mat.
Okay. So we don't waste running this for nothing.
Yeah, we just need the mat. This 6x12 mat would work just fine for that.
And remember, if you angle your mat just a little bit as you're doing different cuts, it won't always keep cutting in the same spot.
Right, you should move your, and actually mats do get overused and you should get rid of them.
When they start warping, it's probably a sign.
And they stop cutting, you have little extra threads, you're probably a mat
That was
stool.
one I saw from the Accuquilt website. They had it
Okay,
cut
let's
in.
see if my theory worked.
Whoop, whoop. There it goes.
Right.
That's right.
I
Not
heard that,
designed.
Joanne. Aren't they nice?
See, and they're all perfect now.
Look at that. Awesome.
Okay,
Ta-da!
so those, and these, yep, these are all 20 of them.
Wow.
These are going to go right
Maybe,
here.
maybe not.
No, actually it cuts 24, so you have a few extra. Okay,
Made from that 1.5 inch strip?
yep, there you go.
So is that in here? To do that? Is that hemp in there?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, we gotta add that.
No, that's why you come to the demo. Right.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to cut, the next thing on our lattice or our yardage chart is the blocks. And so this is what I chose for my blocks today.
I like that.
So we're going to go back to the 6.5 inch, and we can cut them both at the same time, right?
Is that a 7 inch strip?
Yes, it is. Okay. Whoops.
I'm
Can you get it?
learning, still learning bending.
If we both disappear out of view. Okay. You're doing good. Okay, you want to put the mat on?
Okay. Are we gonna have trouble there? Maybe we should slide it up.
Move it a little bit down.
Yeah. Yes, so it's lined up. Okay. It's pretty fabric. It looks like Easter.
Yeah, I've been kind of in an Easter mood. I was gone on a really long trip. Some of you know, some of you don't. But when I got back in the middle of March, I walked in my front door and my Christmas tree was up. And then I went into the dining room and my Thanksgiving stuff was up because I had Thanksgiving at my house. Eleanor does this all the time. It was really quite amusing. I suggested just keeping it up for the next year, but it didn't go over too well.
I kept the one up for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my window. And
How'd it cut?
My friend Al
Perfect.
put saran wrap on his Christmas tree, so he did not have to take it apart and put it back together for the next year.
Well, that's pretty good.
Just wrap the whole thing in saran wrap.
Cool. Okay.
That's people have been talking about wrapping me in saran wrap so I don't fall and get hurt again.
No, that would be bubble wrap.
That's bubble wrap.
Oh yeah, bubble wrap.
Okay, so
Whatever.
I have my 2 strips, but I need to cut them into squares. So thinking of the theory of how I did the last set of squares, we're going to turn it this way on the mat. Okay, and you're just going to keep your excess over here. Okay, I can do it. This is one way I can do doing 2 strips, but this is kind of bulky. So I'm just going to do 1 strip at a time, but I'll fold it in half. No, just fold it in half because I need to get 3 squares out. So let's run this one through, Al.
How many thicknesses do you have?
4.
Okay.
I have 1 strip set, so 1, 2, and I'm folding it in half to get 3 and 4.
Folded it in thirds. Could you do it that way?
I could.
Yeah, you
Oh,
could.
that would be good, huh?
Same
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Alan. Okay, then we can do both. You can fold that one the same way, and we'll cut them all at once.
Oh, there.
Absolutely.
go.
Huh?
Okay, so that's for the blocks.
Mm-hmm.
24 of those?
I have 12 blocks in the quilt. It's 3 by 4.
Oh, you're cutting the blocks.
And I'm getting 6 here.
And I'm getting 6 here.
It's gonna be.
That's going to go fast.
It's gonna be tight with the big. You know how some of these designers, they have to write their name so big on the salvage
Yeah, but I think
edge.
this can go down a little bit, this fold. Just
Just-
right here.
Yeah.
So that's a 6-inch, that's a 6.5-inch cutter. Oh, okay, that's not.
Yeah.
6.5, okay.
Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
This cross cutting, you know, going like this really saves you a lot of time.
This
Yeah,
slide it
and you
just
get the
down
accurate
here.
cuts.
Is this
Yeah.
just straight?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's like little degrees. I'll show you on the mat. Actually, we can show on this mat right here if you want to hold that mat up.
Right.
It'll show you if you
Yes.
want things cut at a 45-degree angle, a 90-degree angle. Uh-huh.
So that when I wanted to cross cut strips, I knew I was getting it absolutely, so I had 90-degree corners. Do you know what I mean? So you highlight the blades this way, and then you turn your ruler, and using ruler lines, you line it up on the blades, and then you draw another Sharpie line.
Uh-huh.
Now you have registration marks,
So you
Oh,
mark
cool.
you mark on your foam.
right on.
Right on the
Yeah.
phone.
Eleanor, could you go over what those lines are about?
Oh, okay. You can cut a strip first, and then if you want to cut them on angles, you take the strip. I won't cut this, Sue.
No, you
but-
can't.
Please stop.
Okay, so
Please don't
first
cut.
you cut straight, and then if you want to have 30-degree angle cuts, then you turn like this, and so then again, the blades just cut like this.
For stars and diamonds and stuff.
And you can do, that's a 30-degree angle. This would be a 45, and this is a 60-degree angle.
Okay.
So the pattern would tell you at what width your
Right,
fabric would be when you put it on there?
right.
So you could use
Right.
it for radiant star if you did the strips and you sewed
40.
the strips and then you put it back on the cutter and cut it at 45.
You would cut 2.5-inch strips first, and then cut it on the 45, and you would get all kinds of diamonds. But don't do it with our Radiant Star, because we sew all the strips first.
Yeah.
But there's some people that think you should cut all little diamonds and sew little diamonds together for hours and hours.
That's the crazy part.
Not us. Nah.
No, not us.
No.
Nah.
I think
If you
not.
were to put your strip set down on that, at the press it and put it down, would it cut it for you?
It would, but it's not, it's wide. If it maybe only had like 2 strips, because it's not
It's
that
wider than that.
wide.
Ah,
My strip set is a lot wider.
okay.
Mm.
Like 10 inches.
Yeah. Look. See?
Okay.
I didn't cut it.
Good, because we're going to cut it now.
Good.
Okay, so next we're going to cut our lattice. And these are the 2 colors of my lattice that I chose. I chose a green, because I thought it'd be pretty. And this little like purpley, going with the Easter theme. Okay, I need a total of 7. So if we look at our die, we see we only have 5 across. Okay, so I'm going to cut 5, and then I'll go back and cut 2 more, okay? So we'll cut off 5 first. So we need to lie these down. We can just cut these both at the same time into strips.
Only 4 layers, Alan.
Okay.
And sometimes I'm really bad. Sometimes I do squeak out 8 layers, but I found out the owner of Accuquilt has been listening. So I probably won't say that anymore.
So
So how many layers can you do?
Only 6.
only 6.
God, Eleanor, you can't get away with anything anymore.
I know it.
They're watching you.
They have the PC police also watching you, obviously.
So what are you saying over there? You ladies are saying you do how many strips?
But we only do 6 at the
Oh,
most.
good thing.
No, we're good.
Yeah, we only do 6 at the most.
We behave ourselves.
Okay, so I better
Because we
pull
learned
that
that from Eleanor to only do 6.
down. Okay.
Okay? Make our sandwich. So speaking of doing just 6 layers, I was working on these kits out of wool, and Ken was going to help me. My husband was going to help me crank them out, because they were little applique pieces. And he's over there. I always put it when he's watching a baseball game or something like that, because then he'll just do it. So he's over there, but he's like, oh, he was doing 24 layers. It didn't work. They were really crooked shapes. That's all I can say.
You were running an electric saw.
I know.
Those are pretty.
Aren't they pretty?
They are pretty. They look like Easter baskets, Easter grass.
I'm thinking Easter.
Easter.
Okay. All right, so we have these. Whoops. I think this fabric was wider than the dye.
It's not folded exactly in the middle.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, we probably could have cut off the salvage edge and it would have been good.
Now we know.
Now we know.
Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with this, because I need to get 2 more.
And with cutting on Accuquilt, you get accurate cuts for your strip.
I know.
You don't have a ruler that, as you cut, kind of moves a little.
Okay, I'm lining up the salvage edges now. See, watch. They're whenever you really put it on the fold.
Okay, did you guys get that? She's lining up the salvage edges this time, so we don't have that extra bit.
Or we could
We're
cut
trying.
it right off. Do you want to cut it right off? It's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay?
It's going to be okay. Okay, I think it's good.
Okay.
And none of those dog legs in the middle of your strips. That was Mackie. You guys remember Mackie? She always talked about the dog leg in the middle of the strip.
Okay, we have to use a rotary cutter to cut these, because they're 7.5. There's one right here, Al. Our go thing.
Oh, I was getting a ruler. We could use
Oh.
the mat, but okay. So you want me to cut this all into?
Okay, so what we're going to do on 5 sets of these, okay, 5 of the lattice 1 and 5 of the lattice 2, we need to subcut those into 7.5-inch pieces, okay? I don't have a mat. They better come up with a mat, right? They need a 7.5-inch die thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm just going to have her cut up 1 just for the purpose of this lesson.
I do not want to screw up.
Now, these are the new Accuquilt rulers, Eleanor?
Yes,
How do you like them?
they're nice.
Good line?
The new Go. They're nice. This is a 12.5-inch ruler. And the mat is really nice. I really like the mat. And then there's a Go cutter. We're entirely Accuquilt now.
Awesome.
Okay, no, you only want one? You sure you don't want two?
You only need 1 to show how to do the lattice, so that's good. But you would be cutting as many as you need. You're going to need to cut 24 of lattice 1 and 24 of lattice 2. And it does say that in your pattern. Okay, so what we're going to do with those is we're going to take one of our blocks. Now I use solid blocks, but if you had a piece block, it would be 6.5 inches unfinished at this point. And now she's going to start sewing her lattice on. I mean, this is like a partial seaming. So you're going to put your lattice 1 to the right side of your block, and you're going to flip it right sides together. And the first time you sew, you're going to start at the top, and you're just going to sew to halfway down. Okay?
And trade places. You stand over here and
Okay.
I'll sit at the machine. Okay?
I think that's going to be really cute.
I can't wait till Easter.
I can't believe Easter's like in a week almost.
Yeah.
Ah. Now we go to Paducah.
Yeah. A week from Sunday.
Ah.
Okay.
She doesn't use red thread.
Oh, you know what? I just assumed it was in there because you've been filming.
No.
I didn't sew over here today. Okay, so now I'm just going to finger press so it goes to the lattice. You always want to go to the lattice. Okay, now I'm going to turn it 90 degrees. Okay, and I'm going to add lattice 2. And I'm going to sew all the way down from the top to the bottom. And this is really great because you don't even have to fight this seam down here because it's already going away. You know, it's not going to be one of those things that haunt you. Okay, so there you go.
So you start with lattice 1 and then you do lattice 2?
Mm-hmm. You alternate.
Okay, alternating. Okay.
Yeah, I tried to give you lots of illustrations of every step. We like, some people are picture people, and they look at the illustrations, and some people read the words. And then everyone should get one that actually reads the words and looks at the picture.
That'd be me.
Yeah. Yeah, I do both. I do both.
Trying to do it really good, Sue.
Good.
Especially if I'm going to give it back to you. Because see, if I'm just doing it myself, if it's not good, I just put my finger over it. You never know. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to finger press it again to the lattice, turn it 90 degrees, and now we're going to go back to lattice 1. Okay? This isn't very hard, is it? It's like one of those things where you're looking at the piece and you go, how did they do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know in partial seaming, when you mention partial seaming, it frightens people.
Yes, it does.
They think it's something like Y seaming or something really scary.
But it's not hard. Not hard at all.
Insetting corners or something.
Yeah. No insets here.
Here's another scary word. Mirror image.
That can throw you.
That one gets everybody excited.
Okay.
Or reverse applique.
There's your little thing. All right, so we got the second lattice 1 on. There you go. Finally, we're going to put on this one right here. Okay, starting to look good.
So we didn't fight the seams at all.
Nope.
So are
So
you gonna?
don't what, the seams?
You don't fight the seams, like the seams are going the other way underneath. It's those hidden underneath seams that will get you.
Are you gonna dye Easter eggs, Sue?
No, but I will next year.
Yeah. She's gonna have a little
A
grandbaby.
little granddaughter. Her name's Sadie. She has come to life. Well, she'll be almost a year by then. She'll be able to throw it or something.
Put it
Okay.
in her mouth.
Right. Okay, so this one also is going to get pressed away. Now the last thing we're going to do is we're just going to put it back in the machine and complete that seam that we started in step 1. That's cool?
Yeah.
We like easy, don't we?
Yes, we do.
But it looks more complex than it is.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to use the same floral fabric as the middle strip of your lattice, would it like laying fence lines over
What was the question again?
If you use the same fabric for your blocks as you do for the middle
lattice?
lattice.
You want me to press it?
No, I can press it, but I'll show you what we're going to do next.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go over to the iron and press that. But while I'm doing that, do you remember those background strips that we cut at 6.5 inches? We cut 2 of them. And the reason we cut 2 of them is because one's going to have green on each side, okay? And the other one we're going to sew pink or whatever color this is on each side.
45-degree strips. 45 degrees, not just half.
45-degree strips.
Pardon me?
You're just going to sew all the raw edge.
Open them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Oh, I was just showing the color.
okay.
So you're just making a strip set to cut for.
Just a strip set. And you can just sew that for a little bit while I iron this, and then I actually have them done.
I can entertain myself for a while.
Yeah.
That's good. Keep me busy.
Yeah, talk step by step what you're doing there, yeah.
So that's how it looks. Isn't that cute?
I like those light springy colors.
Yeah.
Can I continue to?
No, you can
entertain
stop now.
myself?
But you get the idea. You're going to sew on both sides.
I just got started.
I know. Okay, so basically you're going to have one sewn this way and one sewn this way. Now the tricky thing about this, the only thing you really need to watch, we're just trained in our heads to always press our seams towards the dark. In this case, I want you to press it towards the background. Okay? Because we want all our seams to lock together. Okay.
Get this out from underneath.
So then we can take these and we can get that strip die back again. We're being really brave now.
Cool. And we're going to cut 1.5-inch strips.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so let's get that die back, the die that's right there.
I like this.
Hmm?
I like this, rather than going and having to take your ruler and cut and cut and cut and cut.
Right.
And cut.
So what do you think about that?
That looks good.
That is cool. That's a cool idea.
This is really getting the use out of your dies, right?
I'll say.
Definitely.
We'll try this.
I've gotten
I woke up this morning, I was in the shower, I go, I'm going to cut those things on that die too. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How many do you need? How many do you need for each one of them?
16.
16. So you have lots. You have extras.
Yeah, we have extras.
You have extras.
Huh? That's enough, Kim.
That's enough.
Oh, they're
I'm
too-
trying to swirl it, but it's not doing it very good. It's a little too big.
Yeah, so that theory works.
Just make a mess out of it.
Just a few little threads. Must have cut a lot of these. We have little threads connecting.
It's the red thread.
The red thread's not cooperating.
The red thread.
But you get
didn't
the
cut.
idea, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a cool
So,
idea.
it's a cool idea. And see how nicely these are all done.
That's awesome.
All right. So now what I'm going to lay it out for
And
you.
you press those towards
These
the
were
background?
pressed to the background.
That's right, already pressed.
Okay, so I decided I wanted to try to use some blocks that are pieced because we have that 6-inch cube, and it's a fun way to put things. So I just made a bunch of pinwheels.
Let me see. Aww.
Yeah.
And when you're laying them out, we'll probably be switching colors a little bit, but you just want to make sure that all of one color lattice is going this way and the other color lattice is going that way. That's as tricky as it gets.
In other words, purple going
In other
down,
words,
other one forward.
You wouldn't want that. Can you see how that's?
Oh, okay.
so then do you want that second row going, the lattice going the opposite
Oh,
direction?
no.
The
See
same?
how this pink stays the same
Okay.
all the way through and the green stays the same?
Okay.
That's what I'm watching for.
Okay. Gotcha.
But it's cute for piece blocks, I think.
Those are very cute.
Yeah.
Simple.
Even if you have orphan block, you could just find a color that goes with all of them.
Yeah. Or a nice neutral color will work.
Yeah,
Cute.
when in doubt, use black and white polka dot.
Yeah, there you go. There's always a black and white.
And where did you get your lovely fabric, Sue?
I got it at Quilt in a Day.
You did. Woo!
It's my go-to fabric store.
Could that be because there's such a wide selection of,
There's
Oh
such
my
a wide selection.
Gosh.
of quality fabric?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yes. The quality fabric.
You got a lot of good fabrics in there, Ellen.
Yeah, it does.
Nice, helpful staff.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get it all.
All right. So those are my 12 blocks. And I have I think everything's going straight. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, I have the pink going down this way.
Uh-huh.
These are all going to go like this. They're all going to go in a row.
Okay.
Because it's going to, once it's sewn, it's going to look like it's one long strip.
Uh-huh.
Remember I said I wanted these pressed in towards there? That's because this is pressed out. So you'll get that lock everywhere.
This is a really cool.
I don't get it yet.
Neither, that's what I was thinking. When does the
Wait.
overlap?
The aha coming?
Yeah, the overlap happen.
I'll just do the middles for now. This quilt's going to be almost done, huh?
That's very exciting. And because I helped, you're going to give it to me.
Funny how that worked out.
Right?
You know what? I have worked with Eleanor for so many years that I know
It's okay.
just to make 2 of things. I've just learned. It's just a fact thing to me. Okay, so you can see how these are going, and this is like going like this.
Yeah.
Oh, we have those little squares.
Mm-hmm.
Those little white squares.
Those all,
Use the 9 patch for now.
Ding.
yeah, that's fine. You get the idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Because this is taking a long time. Okay, so where's our little squares? Here they are.
No.
Okay. This little opening is just going to be a square. And that's how you get this woven.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's all it is.
Oh.
So you're just going to sew it all together like in rows, like you have a block row and a lattice row and a block row.
Oh, okay.
And just pay attention to the pressing instructions that I gave you, and it'll all work. So there you go.
Wow. Wow.
So you can kind of see it as it's sewn together. You know what I mean? You get the idea. That's it's laid out, but then you really start to see the woven part when it gets sewn together.
Okay.
Okay?
Very cute.
Thank you.